"Please, don't hurt me, I'll work," she begged, but the silent single dad rancher said only, "Come home." The rain was coming down hard that night, cold, merciless sheets of water slapping against the windows of the old Montana ranch. The horses were restless, the wind howled like a wounded wolf, and beneath the flickering porch light stood a young woman, drenched, trembling, and clutching a small backpack as if her life depended on it. Jake Turner, a tall, broad-shouldered rancher with eyes that had forgotten how to soften, opened the door with quiet suspicion. The woman flinched at the creak of the hinges, stepping back as if expecting a blow. "Please," she whispered, her voice raw and broken. "Don't hurt me. I'll work. I can cook, clean, anything you need. Just, please don't send me back." For a moment, Jake didn't say a word. He just looked at her, mud-caked shoes, bruised cheek, trembling hands. His jaw tightened, and then, in a low voice roughened by years of silence, he said only 4 words, "Come inside. You're safe." Her name was Emma. He found that out later, after she'd warmed herself by the fire and stopped shaking enough to hold the mug of coffee he'd given her. She didn't talk much, and Jake didn't push. He'd learned that not everyone's pain needed questions, sometimes, it just needed quiet. Over the next few days, Emma worked around the ranch. She rose before sunrise, feeding the chickens, mending fences, cleaning the house that had long forgotten a woman's touch. Jake watched from a distance, always wordless, always steady. She noticed how gentle he was with his horses, how he spoke to them softly, how his little boy, 5-year-old Noah, followed him everywhere, calling him "Dad" in a voice that melted even the hardest mornings. It was Noah who first made her smile again. One afternoon, the boy ran to her holding a bunch of wildflowers, his face beaming. "Daddy says you're staying," he said proudly. "We don't have many people stay." Her eyes watered before she could hide it. "Maybe I'll stay for a while," she whispered, her voice trembling. "If your dad doesn't mind." Jake did mind, at least that's what he told himself. He'd lost his wife 3 winters ago, and since then, the ranch was the only thing that made sense. No strangers. No attachments. No goodbyes. But there was something about Emma, her quiet strength, her fear hidden behind forced smiles, that reminded him of the broken things in life worth saving. One evening, as the sun set in golden waves across the fields, Jake found her standing by the barn, crying silently. Her sleeve was torn, revealing the edge of a scar that ran down her arm. He didn't say anything at first, but when she noticed him, she froze like a trapped animal. "I'm sorry," she gasped. "I'll go. I didn't mean to." Jake stepped closer, his voice steady. "You're not in trouble, Emma." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "You don't understand. If he finds me." Jake didn't let her finish. He took off his old ranch jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're safe here," he said softly. "No one's gonna hurt you again." That night, for the first time in years, Jake sat by the fire with company. Emma told him everything, about the man she'd married too young, the bruises hidden under long sleeves, the night she ran away when he swore she wouldn't live to see another sunrise. She spoke between sobs, her pain spilling out like a flood she'd held back too long. Jake didn't interrupt. He just listened. When she finally fell asleep on the couch, Jake whispered to himself, "You're home now." The next morning, the sheriff's truck came rumbling up the dirt road. Jake's heart sank. He saw Emma freeze by the window, terror in her eyes. "It's him," she whispered. But it wasn't. The sheriff, an old friend of Jake's, had come to warn him that a violent man was searching nearby for his missing wife. Jake clenched his fists. "If he comes here," he said quietly, "he won't touch her." Days later, that man did come, drunk, shouting, armed with a rage that made even the horses back away. Emma hid inside, clutching Noah in her arms. Jake walked out into the yard, rain pouring again just like the night she first arrived. The man screamed, threatened, raised his hand, then Jake spoke in that same quiet, unshakable tone. "She's not yours to hurt anymore. Go." Something in his voice, solid, fearless, final, cut through the storm. The man stared, saw the way Jake stood like a wall between him and the house, and for the first time, backed down. The sheriff came later to take him away. When it was over, Emma collapsed into tears. "Why would you do that for me?" she asked through sobs. "You don't even know me." Jake looked at her, his eyes softer than she'd ever seen. "Because someone once saved me when I didn't think I was worth saving," he said quietly. "And I promised if I ever got the chance, I'd do the same." She couldn't speak, just cried into his chest as he held her, steady as the mountain behind the ranch. Months passed, and peace slowly returned. Emma's laughter filled the kitchen. Noah called her Mom one morning by accident, and she cried again, but this time from joy. One golden evening, as the three of them watched the sun dip behind the hills, she turned to Jake and said softly, "The night I came here, I thought you'd throw me out or hurt me. I begged to work, but you said only, 'Come home.'" Jake smiled faintly, his hand finding hers. "That's all you ever needed, Emma, a place where love doesn't ask you to earn it." And under that wide Montana sky, with the wind whispering through the wheat fields, Emma finally believed she'd found it. Home.